All right, now the boys head to Phoenix for the biggest party in golf, Jeff. It's the Waste Management Open, TPC Scottsdale. TK Sportsbook's got they got a book there, an actual physical location on site. So check that out if you're going to be partying. Chase or fade, though. Brooks Koepka will win back-to-back Waste Management Open titles, sitting at plus 300 odds here.
Yeah, this is it's going to be a pretty easy fade for me. Look, Brooks Koepka came into this event last year on the back of 3 missed cuts and won. So, anything is possible with a player like Brooks, but it was just different last year. Last year, you could see the form building a bit. He was still gaining strokes off the tee. He wasn't playing that bad. Like, he missed the cut on the number at the Farmers. It's a different story this year. Like, something is not right. He's lost strokes off the tee in 3 straight starts. When the driver is not working for Brooks, it's like Superman without the super. He's just a man. Like, he's not Brooks. He's just Koepka right now. I mean, that's kind of what's going on with him. It's just not looking good in any aspect of his game. It doesn't look like he has confidence. So for me, this is a pretty easy fade. I understand there's going to be people who want to get on here, and you got to buy the dip when these players get up in the odds, and that is factual and true. But this is not a spot where I want to be getting on Brooks Koepka. I just have not seen any signs of life from him yet so far this year.
Yeah, so he's at plus 3,000. But then Xander Schauffele, he was second last year to Koepka. Like, are we chasing X-Man to have another top 5 finish or fading him this week? So he's at plus 2,000 odds.
So, I mean, you could chase him to have like a top 10 finish, I guess, but I'm not gonna chase. I'm actually gonna fade him here as well. Schauffele does everything well. He's produced. He hasn't missed a cut in since the dark ages, but. His last top 5 came at the Tour Championship. He really hasn't shown much yet this year either. Now, this is a spot where guys often do get it going. We're switching to a little bit of Bermuda grass, although it's more of like some kind of POA Bermuda, mix at this time of the year. But it's a different style of event, too. It's a more open venue. Xander obviously has played well here in the past, but his strokes gain approach in his last 2 starts hasn't been great. He didn't really play good at the Century Tournament of Champions, an event that he's basically dominated over the last 5 years. So I don't really like that either. I think you can fade him to finish top 5 here. I really do. I think people will get on him, but again, I mean, we have a deep field here. Like, we have 26 of the world's top 50 golfers in this event. You don't just necessarily have to gravitate to a guy just because he had like one good finish here a year ago. There's other options. And for me right now, there's a few better options than Xander out there. I won't be shocked if he finishes top 10 or top 15, but I'm going to fade him to finish the top 5. Again, just haven't seen quite enough for him to feel confident enough for that.
All right, let's go to this. Chase or fade. We just mentioned Jordan Spieth at the top of this segment, but back-to-back top 3 finishes. Sitting at plus 1,600 to win outright.
Yeah, I actually really don't hate this. Spieth is a guy who we have seen during his career, like he goes on little runs. I mean, even last year around this time, you could see the form building, and then he came really close, finally broke through at the Valero Texas Open. Now, I mean, last week you could argue that, it was Pebble Beach, and that's his favorite venue, and he always shows up there. But, he showed up, obviously, at this event last season too. And I think this event fits Spieth a little bit better than people realize. I mean, you really have to be dialed in with your strokes gained approach at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. We've seen a player like Webb Simpson get it done here, who's very similar to Jordan Spieth in terms of style. He gets hot with the putter. He gets hot with the irons. And he obviously pulled off the win here 2 years ago. I think it's a good venue for Spieth, and I think you will see him keep rolling again. I think you'll see him challenge again. Obviously, a top 3 finish is asking a lot, but I'm going to chase that he at least finishes in the top 5. I think Jordan Spieth is set up very well for success at this event. And, again, I mentioned last week, I didn't think his form was very close. I made a mistake in doubting him. He bounced back quickly, and I think you're going to see that carry over to this week. When Spieth gets confidence, he's not a guy you want to fade.
All right, Patrick Cantlay was the top-ranked golfer in the field over the weekend, like another good finish at Pebble. How do we feel about him at plus 1,600 odds? You feel a little more confident?
Yeah, I mean, look, Patrick Cantlay is just, you can just feel it. Like, it's just close, right? I mean, shot 62 to open at the Amex a few weeks ago, which, again, is like in the desert. It's a pretty good comparable to this week's event. I mean, last week, obviously, had himself right in the mix there at Pebble Beach, a venue where he's like kind of dominated at points in his career too. The worry with Cantlay this week is, well, he hasn't really played this event. Like he never comes to this event. He's a guy who obviously, I don't know, maybe just doesn't like the atmosphere. He just hasn't put this on his schedule very often. But we have seen players come here, with little experience and play very well. So I'm going to chase that. I'm not going to chase that Cantlay wins this week. I think that a plus 1,600, his odds are pretty interesting though. Again, this is a player's top 5 in the world. Like he was running off a string of like wins, at a pretty insane rate there towards the end of last year. But I think backing him for like a top 10 finish or just backing him in DFS is fine. People may just be scared of the lack of course history here, but I wouldn't be scared of that. Cantlay is such a complete player. He's going to gel with this course extremely well. If he picks up the strokes gain approach, like he's going to win very soon. I'm not sure if it's going to come this week. I'm not going to call it to come this week, but I am going to chase him here for a very solid finish. Like I think he'll outperform some guys in this range, like a Schauffele and certainly like a Koepka. So I'm going to chase Patrick Cantlay. I'm not going to make him like my pick to win, but definitely a player have some interest this week for DFS.
Yeah, Spieth, Hovland had the 4th best odds to win this thing outright. It takes a different mindset like on this course. These fans can chew you up and spit you out, especially there on 16. They'll let you know how they're feeling. Like Hideki Matsuyama, by the way, he's been an absolute beast here. Already has a win in 2022, 2-time winner here in this event. And like the 2 years prior to that, I believe they were like runner-up finishes or top 5. Like loves this course. He's very good here. So how do you like his chances this week? He's at plus 1,400, 3rd best odds on the DK Sportsbook.
Yeah, and look, I mean, like let's talk about the odds for a sec because they're pretty interesting. I mean, Matsuyama, 3rd on the DraftKings Sportsbook right now in odds. He's got shorter odds than Viktor Hovland, who's 3rd in the world now, by the way, Patrick Cantlay, who's 4th in the world, and Jordan Spieth, who's coming off a T3, and Xander Schauffele, who we just talked about. So, like Matsuyama getting respect here, but I mean, like a year ago, this would have seemed ridiculous, right? It doesn't seem ridiculous now. Matsuyama's got the Masters win. He's got 2 wins since then, one over in Japan, and then one at the Sony Open to begin the year too. Matsuyama is trending well. And I mean, the biggest thing is he doesn't even have to be trending well to play well on this course because he loves it so much. It just sets up so perfectly for a ball striker like Matsuyama. He likes these perfectly manicured courses as well. Again, obviously the win in Japan, the win at the Masters, there's a little bit of similarity there too. He doesn't necessarily love the thick rough, the US Open style setups. He likes these courses where you can be a little bit aggressive. If you're very consistent, you're hitting fairways, you hit a ton of greens, you're going to give yourselves a ton of birdie opportunities. And he has absolutely eaten up this course. I mentioned the strokes gain approach factor at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. 5 of the last 6 winners here have gained 6.0 strokes on approach or more for the week of their win. Matsuyama is a guy who always gains strokes on his approach when he's playing well. So, I mean, Matsuyama at plus 1,400, he may seem short in the odds. He's really not. I think these are actually pretty fair odds for Matsuyama. Yeah, he's in front of some big names. But, man, you're going to see Hideki in contention this week. There's no way I'm fading him at his favorite venue. This is a chase all the way. I think you'll see him post in the top 5 again.
Just the top dog in terms of course history at TPC Scottsdale. You cannot debate that. Before you get out of here, Geoff, I'm looking at the DK Sportsbook. You just must have put in your bet here because Louis Oosthuizen, his odds just went from plus 4,000 to plus 3,500 this morning. How confident are you here? The South African can win it this week, dude.
I mean, look, jokes aside, this has been Louis this has been a very good venue for Louis. He hasn't played at Waste Management very often, but the last time he did, or the first time he played here, he finished T3. It's a player who kind of a little bit like Matsuyama, he likes these manicured setups. He likes Augusta. He doesn't mind getting around. He can score with the best of them. His strokes gain approach and off the tee was trending pretty well towards the end of the year. Kind of had a cold putter to end last season, but we've seen Louis play here twice now over the last 5 years, a T3 and a T11. I think this is a very good setup for him. And I think people are going to be scared off here. Well, I don't want to bet Louis Oosthuizen at plus 3,500. He hasn't played yet this year. I'll remind people, Brooks Koepka came in here last year, no form, won. Brooks Koepka came here in 2015, his first event of the season, and won. This is a bit of a change. We're going from the extreme West Coast over to kind of the desert. It's a big change for a lot of these people. I don't think it's necessarily a disadvantage for a player like Oosthuizen to come in cold. And again, we've seen him do it here before. So I'm going to chase this all day, Emerson. Like you said, my bet on Louis is in. He's my pick this week. Yada, yada, yada. Let's get this going. Off to a great start here. February is just here. We got the Waste Management Phoenix Open, and we got Louis back in the fold. So, yeah.